What is going on, guys? This is your boy Saiyan, back at you again with another video, except I'm gonna give you a little taste of this Android classic called Ridge Racer Slipstream. I don't know if you guys actually heard of it, but if you haven't heard of it, it's beautiful because today I'm gonna be teaching you a little bit about this particular game. Now, this game came out in 2012, a little bit a year before Asphalt 8. Probably around the same time as Ridge Racer 7. It had a lot of unique things such as paint jobs, vinyls, body kits, rims. But overall, the Ridge Racer series as a whole is a very interesting series to play. I've been playing it since PS1 days. Obviously, for those who are a younger audience, PS1 is, a couple of centuries back from PS5, so to speak. So, a lot of interesting things about this game. But before we even get into any of that, we're going to talk about this game and shed light right now. So basically, to get right into it, we don't really know what happened to Ridge Racer Slipstream. It's kind of anonymous. When it really comes down to it, a lot of it has to do with the fact that, maybe Bandai Namco couldn't really afford the game to be on the store. Maybe it had to do something with license. But this game was actually very unique for a mobile racer. I'm pretty sure the competition in terms of, other racing games such as Ridge Racer or Real Racing or any other game that was out throughout 2012, I just remember playing it because I had an iOS. And at the time, I'm not really into iOS phones. I'm mainly an Android user. But I actually was able to get this particular game because at the time, it was free before they actually put it on sale, and then a couple of years later they took it off the marketplace via Google Play or via iOS. But this game itself is actually very, very unique, and it aged like fine wine. I mean, just look at it. Graphically, it's amazing. The gameplay was actually pretty good. It's very lengthy. I know a lot of racing games nowadays are pretty lengthy, but they have a fuel system in it, which makes it kind of hard to play at times. I know some people don't really like energy systems. Some people probably do. It's all based on preference. But when it comes down to it, Ridge Racer Slipstream had a lot of unique potential as a racer, and some of the elements were even gifted into games like Ace Racer or Racing Master or anything like that in general. And the most important thing that you can't take away from this particular game is that it was very, very fun and interesting. Two solid points because a lot of the things to do in the game had to do mainly with, challenging your ability to understand tracks, cars, and everything else of that nature. A lot of things that other Ridge Racer games obviously had, but Ridge Racer Slipstream took place in the middle of Ridge Racer 6, Ridge Racer 3DS, and some other games of that nature. And it's really important enough to know that we definitely do miss games like this. This was at a time where there was laps, an ancient history thing in mobile games. There was laps in these racing games. I mean, I don't know what happened throughout that time period to where there are not laps anymore, or that we can't play on circuits. Of course, we do play on circuits to a certain extent, but I don't think that it's very lengthy. It seems like the races have gotten shorter. And with Ridge Racer Slipstream, around the same time Asphalt 7 and other games of that nature had, laps and everything else of that nature. But before you even think about, downloading this particular game, if you're interested, that is, this game only runs on a earlier version of Android. If you try running it on a newer version of Android, it won't play. I think that's one of the takeaways from the situation, which is why I'm playing it on Nox Player, because it runs very well. Obviously, you can't see that it runs at 120 FPS. It's only going to run at 60 on your end, but it's a beautiful looking game, and that's the only downside. If you were interested in playing this particular game or trying it out yourself, if you haven't, the only bad thing is that if you don't have a earlier version of an Android model or whatever, like a Samsung Galaxy S7 or anything that's lower than Android 7 itself, you won't be able to play the game, because the game that I'm currently playing is a modded version of the pack, which was the only one that I can actually find up to date, that is. But really the question that we really have to ask ourselves is that are we ever going to get a Ridge Racer, or are we ever going to get a racing game in this particular generation that lives up to the standards like these classics? You know, we talked about Asphalt 7, we talked about, you know, other games of that nature that were purely beautiful in terms of design. It was purely beautiful in terms of mechanics, the cars, you know, how welcoming it is, how challenging it really was. I mean, that's what really builds a racing game. And Ridge Racer Slipstream definitely did deliver that, and that's kind of what's so surprising why they took it out of the store in the first place. Listen, Bandai had an idea to continue to support this game if the sales were doing good. But I guess, you know, when it really comes down to Japanese racers, it seems like they don't really last that long. I mean, this is coming from a perspective to where a lot of Ridge Racer games in the States only did so well because they were on first gen consoles, which is, you know, PS1. I'm not talking about in the state of PS4 or whatever the case is, but first gen consoles, so to speak. And it's very hard to see Japanese racers actually make it out to get those sales to get supported. And this is the reason why Ridge Racer Slipstream is no longer available. But you can still be able to retrieve the mod APK, in which we will be able to provide in the description below if you're interested, and if you have that said so phone to be able to download and play the game if you're interested. But it really sucks, man. I mean, I had a lot of fun playing this particular game. I had so much enjoyment, so much history playing games like this. I mean, it's reasons for me playing other games. I mean, if I really didn't explore games like this, then I don't know what else it would be or come down to. You know, so let me know what you think in the comment section. I would really like to know your thoughts. I really want to know exactly what you think about this game, if you're interested in the game, if you want me to upload different classics, different Android classics, but it's completely up to you. Again, my name is Saiyan. Thanks for watching the video, and peace out.